You know, if we're gonna talk about media and globalization, we gotta talk about K-pop. But like, what are they saying? But like, does it really matter though? Probably not. Alright, so K-pop is Korean pop music. It started in Korea, or more specifically South Korea. Once they figured out how popular it could become, they decided to export it globally as a commodity. Wilson and Peterson talk about media as an anthropological field site, and I believe that social media is an integral part of how K-pop became a global phenomenon. To study this, we'll be looking at two groups and their fans. Our first group is Big Bang. They've been in the K-pop industry for 10 years and are veterans of the industry. They have 5 members, all of which who are native Korean, and they hang out with Justin Bieber and Karl Lagerfeld, so that's the type of famous we're looking at. And if you're a fan of Big Bang, they're a hashtag VIP. Our second group that we're going to look at is GOT7. They have 4 native Korean members and 3 foreigner members. They've been around for 3 years and are still fairly rookie in the K-pop field, but have a pretty large following. And if you're a fan of GOT7, you're a hashtag IGOT7. Now moving on to visual symbols. As explained with Peterson in 2003, Pokemon became a globalized phenomenon because it involved easily recognizable visual symbols. The same thing goes for K-pop. Our first example is the Big Bang light stick. All K-pop groups have a light stick. The Big Bang one is probably the most easily recognizable because they've been around for so long. It's a crown because you're a VIP and it's yellow, so it stands out. Our second one is the Made album from Big Bang. This is their most recent promotional symbol. It is very simple, super recognizable, and has a lot of different color variations. It has been on everything from posters to stickers to concert gear to in their concerts. It's everywhere. Our third one is Alive. It's also a Big Bang album cover, but this shows how they switched. So Alive was before Made, but it is still the same thing. It's fairly simple and it represents Big Bang, because as you can see, the blue lines make 2 Bs. GOT7 uses their symbols a little bit differently. Instead of it being a visual symbol, most of the time it's a hand signal that can be used in different visual ways. So, in our example of Just Right, which is an album cover, they have a simple hand signal that has shown up in performances, posters, pictures, and anytime they're on a live broadcast. The same thing goes with Fly. It was integrated into their choreography, and again, it was a symbol of them as a band and their new songs. And finally, we have the GOT7 light stick. Now, it is a baby bird because when you translate I got 7 into Korean, it makes Agase, which stands for baby bird. Again, these are easy, recognizable symbols that can easily identify you as a K-pop group, as a member of the K-pop community. Now, moving on to indexicals, Vania and Rosa talk about how people group themselves online. Hashtags is a great way to do it. Now, if we look at our first example, we have GOT7. And it starts with hashtag I got 7, hashtag every member's name, hashtag got 7. Basically, this is a person within the K-pop community who wants to solely identify with got 7 and other fans of got 7. It's an easy way to organize themselves in a way that on social media that is visual to everyone. Because social networks from our physical life have become easily viewable online through Facebook, as Miller had pointed out. Our second example is the same thing, but with Big Bang. It's hashtag Big Bang, hashtag every member, hashtag VIP. It goes one step further because each of the emojis within the tweet stands for a group member. Again, this would only be known if you were a VIP and you were socialized within Big Bang. Now, the final tweet that we have as an example is basically an aggregation of hashtags of the most popular groups at that time. So as you can see, GOT7 and Big Bang are both hashtags, but basically this is a way to aggregate and bring the community together. If you follow this one account and you get these 10 hashtags, you're able to connect with the 10 largest groups and the largest community. So it is a rallying point within the community. Moving on to code switching. Code switching is when you start in one language and switch to another. It's very common when people know what's multiple different languages. In this case, the K-pop group members are using it a little bit differently. Our first example is an Instagram post from Bam Bam of GOT7. He is not Korean, but he starts off in English, switches to Korean, then finally ends in Thai. This is because he is trying to connect with a larger group of people. This has changed the relationship to space. He does not have to be in Thailand, in Korea, in America, anywhere speaking English, but he can easily communicate with those groups. The same thing is true with our second example. This is Yugyum. He is from GOT7 and he is Korean. He starts his tweet in English and finishes out in Korean. This is again part of the situation of you do not need to know both languages to understand the caption, you only need to know one. This is a way to include multiple different groups within the same hashtag GOT7 community and make it easier and feel like the community is cohesive. Big Bang is a little bit different when it comes to code switching because majoritively they speak and caption themselves in English. This is a form of visual sovereignty because they are trying to control how they are portrayed globally. They're not necessarily worried about their Korean fans because they have such a large Korean following already. They're trying to present themselves globally as a band in the way that they know that they can, which is in English. Multilingual use is the same or similar to code switching, except it's actual translations. Our first example is from GOT7. Jackson first writes in Korean, then changes to Thai, then changes to Chinese, and then changes to English. He actually translates everything that he says in the exact same way, even down to where the emojis are placed. Again, this is a way of broadening the community. By using different languages, he's able to connect to 4 different communities that are rather broad. You can connect to anybody who can speak Korean, Chinese, Thai, or English. The same thing is true for Big Bang. This is a post from one of their members who is Korean, and he's posting first in Korean, second in Japanese. Again, it is a direct translation with hashtags in both Korean and Japanese. If we talk about K-pop, we also need to talk about othering. Now, as we can see from the Hot Topic ad, it is advertising Big Bang. This is only interesting in othering because the only person and only group within the K-pop section of Hot Topic is Big Bang. They're specifically making Big Bang different than other groups and other bands and other musicians because they know K-pop as a genre is fetishized. This is seen in our second example where it says I speak fluent K-pop. It's not I speak fluent Korean, it's I speak fluent K-pop, showing that the genre of K-pop and all the components have eclipsed the idea of learning about Korean culture into just knowing what K-pop is and being part of the fandom. So, in conclusion, K-pop is a media product that is marketed to global communities through visual symbols, indexicals, language use, and worldwide access to consumer items. And this is only possible through globalization and media.